Okay, this is our second video on the Get Home Alive bag scenario. The Get Home bag, a lot of people have talked about these over the years. They've gotten more popular in the last few years simply because of the way that things are in the world, and they do not look like they're getting any better. I believe they are going to get much worse. So we started off this series talking about packs. So the first three units that I had here consisted of one that made me look somewhat like a vagrant or a homeless person. This is for walking around in the city. This is a pretty sturdy pack for a big box store, but it does show a bit of wear. It's probably not visible on camera, but if you looked at this in person, you could see it has some wear. And I do believe that I did some sewing on it, a couple of little places. But I covered that one a bit, and I covered the medium Alice, the large Alice. The medium Alice and the large Alice are popular with homeless people because they are durable military spec packs. Okay, and I briefly discussed this bag, okay, and we're going to discuss this one a little bit more. But getting back to those three, oh, and I did bring up, this is a modern version of the Alice, which is the Spec Ops Recon Ruck. That is an option. It's going to cover a couple of different bases for you. It'll make you look a little bit more in the gray man area, but it is a little bit more tactical looking than those, because the original Alice is very widely accepted, especially in cities like New York City and other big cities, okay, because of the fact that it's military surplus, and also military surplus, especially old military surplus, is popular with young people, okay, so it doesn't really look out of place, and you're still getting that military quality, right? I mean, that stuff is decades old, but it's still good and strong. Now, I'm going to talk about this bag now. We talk about a get home bag, and we could use something like this. And this is a North Face bag. I don't remember what they call it, but it's heavy duty. It's got bar tacked webbing on it. It totally looks like your everyday sort of bag, because it is, but it's still heavy duty because it's made to transport goods, a heavy amount, okay, and it's made tough. It's made for the outdoors. It's made to throw in the back of your Rover or your Land Cruiser, or God forbid your Jeep, and yeah, so it's meant to be tossed around. Now, one thing that I use this for is I use this for airport. So anytime I was traveling cross country or out of the country for some particular reason, okay, whatever reason that was, I would use this bag. And the reason why I use this bag is because, number one, it looks like just an everyday bag, not standing out at all, and I could lock it, which I did. I could lock it, and it has these pack straps on it, so you can wear it like a pack, okay? And now, another thing about this is that it prevents people from tampering with it when you're standing around in a crowd, because the opening is on your back. They can't get to anything. So if you're in a situation where you're in a crowd, you can put this on, and they can't tamper with it, right? So if you have it on, they can't try to get into your gear, okay? Any kind of equipment that you have inside, they can't get into it. It does not have a chesty or sternum strap. It does not have one. It would be nice to have one in certain situations to keep someone from possibly grabbing the handle on the bag and pulling it off from the back. Okay, it would be good to put one on here. Might take a little bit of ingenuity, but you could definitely get one on here. And, so this has these little Velcro things here. I guess you could put a water bladder or a hose, maybe, I don't know. But it's not really equipped for that. But this right here, when I was going through airports a lot, I use this. So that is something there. Now, everybody's like, well, what about the get home alive bag, right? I'm just showing you options of different types, because everybody's situation is going to be different. As far as, like, I live in the woods, you know, and there's no real issues here. If I had to walk home from town or the village or whatever, then I could do that. You know, I could do that with no issues. Now, if I go into a big town, a ways from here, 15-20 miles away, right, then I would pack appropriately. You know, I would be, it would be a different scenario. So in my case, my Get Home Alive bag will be set up to the nearest large town, so that if I have to go there for some reason, for groceries or what have you, then I have a bag that I could use to get me home safely if something happens. Okay, that would be my kind of scenario. Your kind of scenario might be a 2-day ordeal. So we're going to have to look at that, right? So here the situation is that you don't want any kind of a pack or bag that is weak, uncomfortable, too small, or too large. Okay? This is why we're looking at medium-sized stuff. So this particular one here, this is a Spec Ops THE pack, which stands for Tactical Holds Everything. Okay, so this is my particular pack, Get Home pack, right? Get Home bag. So as you can see, this is roughly roughly this, you know, it's roughly the same amount of volume as the Recon, Spec Ops Recon Ruck and the medium Alice, and possibly that North Face bag over there. Okay, but obviously this has pockets, and these others have pockets, and that bag is just one big volume. So in my case, it doesn't matter if my pack looks tactical or not tactical. It doesn't matter. Let's give you another scenario here. If you're in the military right now, let's say you live in the vicinity of any military installation, then having a very tactical looking pack for your get home bag is not going to be out of the ordinary, because there are military families living on the base and all around that base, and probably in several of the nearby towns and townships and cities that are either still military or they're former military, what have you. So a pack that looks a little bit more on the tactical side, you know, I said that this looks a little less tactical. Personally, I think that this looks more tactical than this one, because this pattern with the 3 pockets on the back. If I take off those side pockets, those Bren gun style pouches, if I take those off, it'll look just like an Alice, just a different color, right? And that particular image is burned into the mind of everyone from now to way back to previous generations. Everybody knows it. So it's not like it's anything outstanding. It's just a common everyday thing in people's minds. It's not, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't bring up images of special forces or anything like that. You know, nothing. It's just a common everyday. And it's often imitated by cheap pack makers. Okay, often imitated. You see cheap canvas knockoff crap. Okay, and then you got the real stuff. Don't go for that cheap stuff. But I'm just saying, it's so common and everyday in appearance that it's just widely accepted. I mean, you could be a student going to school as far as somebody else knew. And they don't know that what's in there is your life. That's your life preserver. So this, on the other hand, looks pretty tactical. But in my situation, it doesn't matter. It probably will not matter in anybody's situation that lives on or near a military installation either. So, yeah. So that's the packs in a nutshell. Just a little overview to kind of give you an idea. If you have questions or comments, obviously you can email me anytime. And we will come back and we will discuss the things that may or may not go in your pack. And we'll see you there.